What's the difference between the Ninja Lux Cafe Premier and Pro? And why don't coffee beans ever get into arguments? The second one's easy, because they know how to espresso themselves. I want to thank Ninja for sending over this machine and my old machine for me to review. You can factor that in however you like. I've had the original model, the Premier version, for over 6 months, and I've literally made hundreds of shots with it, and it has transformed the way that I experience coffee. I no longer actually go out to get a coffee. I might get a coffee if I'm out, but I don't have to go out to get one because I just have it here at my house. I drink an espresso Romano every morning. I'll sometimes make an iced coffee in the afternoon. I've gotten pretty good at making lattes and cappuccinos for the wife on the weekends. It's just been a great machine. Absolutely love it. But I kept getting comments on the channel asking me about my thoughts on the new one. I couldn't really give my thoughts because I hadn't used it. Well, that's about to change. Let's take a look at what the new 4-in-1 model has versus the old 3-in-1 model. Probably the first thing we need to address is, why is it a 4-in-1 instead of a 3-in-1? Well, what makes this a 4-in-1 machine is the fact that it has its own hot water dispenser. You can make teas and Americanos and different drinks that need just plain old hot water with it, as opposed to the 3-in-1, which doesn't have that as an option. If you wanted to do something with hot water, you'd have to have a kettle or boil it and do something like that. So that's probably one of the main differences between the two machines, that extra hot water feature. To make things a little bit easier, we're going to refer to these as their model number. This is the 701. The old one was the 601. It's just a lot easier than saying Ninja Lux Cafe Premier Pro, blah, blah, blah. Just goes a little quicker. For the 701, they made some improvements. One of the first things they changed was how you tamp. Let me get my old tamper. This is the portafilter for my 601. You take your little funnel and it goes right on top. This is the tamper. It is a spring-loaded tamper, and it just kind of goes there, and all you do is you push down, and it can only go down a certain amount, and that's it. Tamping done. On the 701, the tamper is integrated. It's just like a little handle here on the side, like that. You put your coffee in your portafilter, and boom, pull the handle down. Haven't done it yet, but that's supposed to be it. It says tamp twice for best results, so we'll see how that goes. Let me grab the old unit so you guys can see a side by side. And there you go. This is the 601. This is the 701. Pretty similar footprint. I don't see much of a difference there, but there are other differences. This is the starter pack that comes with the 701. You get some cleaning accessories, a little bit of descaler, a hard water test kit, some cleaning tablets, a brush, and this little thing that goes in there when you do your cleaning. On the side here, there is a little accessory storage area. That is the same on both. They both have that. Okay, I'm gonna pull the portafilter off this one so I can compare. The actual portafilters, they seem to be exactly the same. Don't see any difference there. Now you do get a bonus. On the 601, it comes with a quad basket and a double basket. That's it. The 701 comes with a quad basket, a double basket, and a single basket. You get an extra basket. The baskets just go right in like that. Super simple. However, I always make a double. That is just, I'm not going to make a single. I don't know why I would ever make a single, but if you want to make a single shot, you have that option on the 701 without having to buy any additional accessories. As far as the quad basket goes, I almost never use the quad basket on my unit. You have to redial things in, you have to make changes and settings, and I'm kind of I want it the way it is, and I just leave it that way. If I want 4 shots, I will pull 2 double shots. It's just easier for me that way. So you do get the quad basket. I'm gonna put it right here. They both come with a milk jug, but one of these is obviously different. This one is much bigger. Also, it feels like it's from a heavier gauge steel, so it feels a little bit more weighty, a little bit more substantial than this one does. I've never run into the point where I needed more milk than I had, but one of the issues I've had with the old machine is I'm terrible at pouring latte art. It's not the machine's fault, it is my fault. But one of the things you need to do when you do your latte art is you need to spin the milk to kind of like knock down the bubbles and everything so that when you do the initial pour, it's not foamy and then you can make it foamy. Well, spinning a full container of milk in this size thing is very tough. It gets right to the top. You can't really spin it hard enough, I think, to get like a good spin. So I think having more room in the milk jug is going to make it spinning a little easier, and maybe I can pour better latte art because of it. Probably not, but maybe. This machine also has a couple of new settings that this one doesn't. It has a ristretto setting for smaller, more concentrated serving with a sweeter, richer flavor. It has a lungo setting, larger, less concentrated with sharper flavor, and the Americano setting. This one doesn't have those settings. It just has espresso. This also has an extra foam setting. You can get steamed milk, thin foam, thick foam, extra thick foam, and cold foam. On this unit, you do not have the extra thick foam option. One other small change they made is to the actual foam wand. This one is much thicker and it's supposed to be cooler to the touch than this one, which is, you can noticeably tell the difference on how thick they are. Other than that, the machines are functionally the same. They both have conical burr grinders with 25 settings. They can both make all of your drinks hot, cold, make regular coffee, cold pressed coffee, all kinds of stuff. They both come with the Barista Assist technology, which helps you dial in your beans. They have a hands-free frothing system. Similar. Ninja doesn't advertise the pump pressure on these machines, but I've seen tests from multiple people saying that they are at least 15 bar, which is what you need to make great espresso. You really only need 9 bar to make espresso, so these should be pretty good for just about anybody. At this point, I think old trusty is good to go. We're just gonna go ahead and put that to the side, and we're gonna start playing with the new one. First thing I need to do is just give everything a good wash. I'll be right back. The first thing you need to do when you set these up is do a hard water test. They give you some strips to do that, and then you enter in your value. I already know mine because I did it when I set up the other one. I have a hardness of 0. We have very soft water here. We have a system for that. It says HD5. I need to go all the way down to 0. Press the center dial. If you haven't seen my other videos on the Ninja Lux Cafe, let me give you a little bit of info about me and my coffee taste. I am basic. I have tried all the fresh beans and all the stuff, and for me, I just want coffee with minimal effort. Now, I'm using some Illy Intenso espresso beans. I use these because I have a hookup. So that's why I picked them. They taste fine to me with what I make. I am not the person who can pick out chocolatey notes and caramel notes and whatnot. I can pick out coffee notes. This tastes like good coffee. That's all I got. So I'm gonna fill it with some beans. Line up. This is a lot easier to do from the other side. And pull it tight. On my original 601, the portafilter was kind of sticky originally, but as I went on and made more and more coffees, it loosened up and it was nice and easy. Right now, Ninja is giving you one of their little perfect sip heat technology thermoses if you order a 701. So I happen to have one on hand. I'm gonna use it for the water test. This supposedly has some sort of technology where it can take like really hot drinks and then bring them to the perfect temp and just hold them there. Sounds cool. I haven't tried it yet, but for now, we're gonna try this. Oh no, I can't fit it. I had a question from a viewer about putting a really tall mug on the old one, and they were worried it wasn't gonna fit. And yes, that's kind of a really tight fit right now. But if you had a really tall mug, all you gotta do is take that guy out. And then you could put in a really big mug. When you first get a Ninja Lux Cafe, you have to do a water flush. You only have to do this one time. We're gonna set it to the classic setting and just brew a 12-ounce cup of coffee without any grinds in there. So we wanna go to classic. Size is set at 12. We'll get our cup under there and we brew. And there you go, all done. Now we're just gonna dump this and let's brew an espresso. On my old machine, it ran at a 10 grind setting, so that's where I'm gonna start with these beans. With this unit, there is no funnel needed. All right, we are gonna set it at espresso. I like the brew strength 2. And then for my grinder, I'm gonna go down. And now we just take this handle and go 1, 2. And that should be it. Properly tamped coffee. I'll line my portafilter, lock it in place. 1 espresso mug. I am set to espresso. I'm set to a double. Interesting, no coffee came out. So this one doesn't follow the same settings as my old machine. Time to start listening to the Barista Assist. The Barista Assist says we should be at a 15. Let's listen to it. Okay. Portafilter in, cup down, brew. Once again, no coffee. Well, a little bit of coffee. It is now asking for a 19. I sped this up a little bit, but it took about 24 seconds to brew my espresso. All right, this machine likes 19. All that matters is that we got a nice crema on top and a good amount of coffee. I've seen so many people stress about that their number is too high and they're upset about it. I don't care what number it thinks it needs to be at. I don't care if it's 57. If it makes a good cup of coffee, that's all I care about. So this looks good to me. Let me make my espresso romano and see if it tastes right. You may be asking, what is an espresso romano? It is nothing more than a shot of espresso with a twist of lemon rind. Just the yellow part, the rind. It is something my Italian uncle did all the time, and I got to liking it. So I put a little bit of that in there, and I'm a child. Once again, why I'm not worried about beans and such, I put a little bit of sugar in my espresso. Go ahead and yell at me in the comments. This one's to you, Uncle Sal. It's pretty good. Very sharp. Love it. A little bit of sweetness in there from the sugar. That's my espresso romano. Tastes just like it used to out of the old machine. The old machine did a 10. This did a 19. Do I care? No. I guess we should check out this hot water feature. Apparently the hot water is behind the brew head. So we'll get a little cup. Let's pull this. I think that's a sign of a good extraction. It's not all wet. Knocked out nice and clean. I'm gonna guess you don't need the portafilter for hot water. Hot water. That is the hot water temp. We're gonna go super hot.
This wasn't what I would call speedy, but also not super slow.
And there is a cup of hot water, which came out at 168 degrees Fahrenheit. And it looks like it was about 225 milliliters. Let's brew an Americano, which is basically espresso mixed with hot water. Okay, let's go to Americano. Likes my 19. For the Americano, we will use a bigger cup.
The entire process to brew the Americano took 1 minute and 14 seconds. Not too bad.
One Americano. Americano. Oh, I kind of like that. It's like a really strong cup of coffee. Pretty good. I might drink some Americanos. And the last thing I want to try is the new milk frother. I want to see if I can actually pour better latte art with their new milk frother. So to do that, first I need to brew some espresso. Let's grab some whole milk. We're gonna go to the latte line. Pop that guy in there. And we are gonna go dairy. That's the level I use for my lattes.
This is by far the longest process in making a coffee on this machine.
All right, we got foamed milk. Ooh, it wipes off nicer than the other one did. I used to have to really go at it. The purge is done. And now we have a nice foamy milk. Okay, so what you need to do for latte art, I'm terrible at it, is you need to really swirl this milk. Ooh, I can get a better swirl going in here. To kind of flatten it out, to make it more pourable. Pour from up high. Okay, that's a pretty decent heart for me. For me, that's pretty good. The only mistake I made was I didn't knock down that white on the left when I poured. I don't know if it's the bigger jug or better milk consistency. but I was able to pour the heart, and I've really almost never been able to do that. I did put a couple of pumps of salted caramel in here. Let's taste our latte. And it's delicious. So you can make a latte, Americano, an espresso. There's a lot more that this can do. We're gonna have to play with it a little while, see how it works out, and maybe make a follow-up video. If you're interested in some like iced coffee type stuff, I'll link a video in the description that I did with my 6-month review of the old machine where I did my favorite drinks and gave you some accessory ideas and stuff like that that I think you need for these machines. So in the end, I think these are great machines for people like me, who's not a full-end coffee snob. I don't have the interest in becoming an actual barista and learning all the ins and outs of everything. I just want something I can plug in, hit a couple buttons, and make an awesome cup of coffee. And this does that for me. At this point, I think we have to at least address the price. This unit is $750 US. You can get the other model for $600 US. So you're paying $150 for the ability to dispense hot water and the improvements from the other unit. You have to ask yourself, are those things worth it to me for 150 bucks? You can buy a lot of coffee beans for 150 bucks. For me, I think the 601 is the sweet spot from a price to features standpoint. It did everything I wanted to do. I never felt like I couldn't make a drink that I really wanted to make. So I just think that thing is a fantastic deal. But if you are a bells and whistles person and just want to have everything, this is a fantastic unit. I do like the new features. I like the integrated tamper. It was a little bit messy with the old one where you'd get coffee grinds and you'd have to store the funnel and things like that. And the new milk jug, the fact that I can pour coffee art with it is amazing. I'm really, really happy with that. And I kind of like that Americano. It was a pretty good drink. Either way, I think these are great options if you like coffee and you're not a barista, like me. I want to thank Ninja for doing something really special for you guys, and they're going to let me give away a 601. I have it sitting here at the house ready to go. Unfortunately, this is only for people here in the continental United States because shipping would kill me if I had to ship it out of the country. How are you going to enter? Really simple. Follow me on Instagram, share the post, like the post, tag 3 friends, and leave a comment. That's it. You will be entered in to win your very own Ninja Lux Cafe 601. That's the original one, the one I love so much. All the information on the giveaway with links and everything will be in the description below. Good luck and enjoy your coffee machine if you happen to be the one who wins it. If you happen to be enjoying this content, please do the likey subscribe thing. YouTube loves it when you leave a like. I love it when you leave a comment. I answer just about every comment in my comment section. And if you really want to support the channel, consider becoming a member. Members get behind the scenes access, early videos, they get producer credits, they sometimes get longer cuts, all kinds of fun stuff. But if you can't, subscribing would be enough. So with all that out of the way, I guess there's only one question left to answer. What's a coffee's favorite exercise? The French press. Yeah, pretty bad. Dad may tell horrible dad jokes, review coffee machines, and give them away. But one thing Dad will never do is an outro. So that's it. Bye.
This is the part where I thank all of my members. You guys are the absolute best. Thank you so much for your support, and rock on. I don't know why I said rock on, but rock on.